Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dr. Ini Adesina show. My apologies for starting a little bit late, so sorry about that. A few things happened, and I could not really start at 6, or wherever you are, but I'm 3 minutes late, or I'll be 3 minutes late, so my apologies for that. So let's just get right into it. I wanted to, anyways, start by always appreciating everyone that's watched, commented, just being part of this program. Again, this program is a show to help SMEs do what? Thrive. So very excited to be here. A very busy day for me today. So just very excited that I am able to make today's show. All right. Okay. So I have another interesting and exciting topic. And my topic is 7 steps to change your business model. 7 steps, to change your business model. Now, you might be wondering, really, what's really a business model? All right. But there are so many definitions of a business model, but it's just really about, a plan that is in place that actually helps you to make profits. What's the goal? Your goal is to really be into business, right? That's your goal. Be in business, your business to be successful, right? And sometimes, right? Some business models they don't work well. Maybe you're not making the plan, your profit is not, doing well. You're not doing well. Things like several things are happening and you're not really hitting that mark. All right, doing well. Again, there are several definitions, but just summarizing, it's just a plan, a model in which a business steps back and says, okay, how do I make profit? How do I do well? How do I succeed? Right? And it involves so many things within that model. And so I would say, even before we go into the steps, you ask yourself, right? That's one of the very first steps. Is it necessary? Do I have to change my business model? Is there any step? Do I have to step up? Is there anything I need to do? So is that change necessary, right? Because you might see somebody that says, you know what, I want to change my business model. But you have to say, right? You have to recognize, is that the changing of the business model really necessary for your business? Now, if your business is struggling, if there are things happening and you feel, oh, you know what, there's something going on with my business, right? I'm not doing as well, as I wanted to, right? So remember, the goal of every business is to make profit, unless you're a nonprofit, right? If you're a nonprofit, as the name says, nonprofit, you're there because of your cause. You're not there really to make money. You're just there to make an impact in somebody's life, or it could be maybe an animal's life, depending on what it is. If it's for pets, it's for people, the nonprofit depends on your cause. That is nonprofit. You're not there to make profit, right? But in this case, you're in your business to actually make profit. That's why you're in this business. So you have to look at and say, what, I'm not doing well, right? I'm not doing well. I'm not doing as well as I expected. What's going on? Then there might be a need for you to change that business model. There might be a way to change things that are happening within the company. So the very first step is, first of all, ask yourself, is it necessary to change the business model? Is there something that is not, is it really necessary? And if your answer is yes, right? If your answer is yes, there's a need to change my business model. The next thing you should do is specify what you need to change, because sometimes it's not like the entire model is bad. There might be, something, right? Okay, for example, maybe your customer service is bad, very bad. Now, how would you know your customer service is bad? You see your ratings. The ratings will tell you that, okay, they are not good. The receptionist is very rude. So many things out there, right? Maybe I had a return. I wanted to return something and it was so bad. Look, just find out, is the issue your customer service, right? There's a fast food joint, right? Fast food company I know of. I'm not going to mention names here, but anytime you go there, you feel that you're just part of the family. They are the company has, or the management has taught the workers there, the front workers, right, the people that are serving, to really get into the mix of really making their customers comfortable, very comfortable. And there's so many reviews out there about them. So is it an issue with your customer service? Look into that. Or what about if it's not really your customer service? Maybe it's your marketing. People don't know you. Your product is very good. Your product is very good. Your services are fantastic, but people don't know you, right? They don't know you. So could it be that? Because, the few people that know you say, oh my goodness, this is such a good product. Oh my goodness, service is fantastic. So your issue is not with customer service. Your issue is with branding, right? People are they really, do they really know about what you are doing, right? Then another issue could be maybe, what else? Maybe it could be your efficiency, right? You notice that you're spending more money than you make. It could be something there's a lot of waste in your company, a lot of waste, right? A lot of waste in your company. So the issue here is that what is causing this waste? That's, remember I said the second issue is when first of all, you said, yes, there's really a need to change my business model. Second step is specify, maybe it could be several things that you need to change, or it could be 2 or 3 aspects, something that you need to change, right? I mentioned an example of customer service. I mentioned marketing, right? Now I'm talking about efficiency. There's so much waste, right? Maybe you're selling perishable goods, right? You're baking, and you realize that, okay, this product, even though you love it, this product doesn't sell, but you have another product that sells well, but yet you're producing both of them at the same pace, right? The same quantity, but yet this one that you love because maybe you're a baker and you love this product, continues going into the garbage. You don't make, because people don't buy it as much as the other one. The other product is like, oh my goodness, it's already finished, right? So it could be there's waste, right? That's why you're not making money. Your business model should actually make sure that you're making money, right? It could be, that's maybe a product waste, or could be staff that that they're not even being productive, or they're not being efficient. Because sometimes business, changing the business model actually is really an overhaul. So we're talking about efficiency, right? Efficiency. That's point 2. Now, the third point, I touched on it a little bit it's about reassessing your staff. Reassessing your staff. You have 10 staff working for you. Do you really need 10 staff? You really need 10 of those staff working for you, right? Because, if you have staff that are in your office that practically, that maybe 40% of the time, 50% of the time, they're not working, then there's a problem. That's waste. Because why? Why am I saying it's waste? You're paying people for work that is not done. And, sometimes it's not that, let me rephrase that. It's not that they're not good staff. Don't get me wrong. They're good staff. But do you need them? Good staff, but do you need them? Let's say you have, your work requires 3 staff that can work 40 hours a week, or wherever you are, depending on where you are, because there are some places you work less than 40 hours a week, maybe 37.5 hours a week. But you have 3 staff that they can work efficiently, right? Up to that 37.5 hours or 40 hours, and produce, whether inventory or whatever or services. You have good staff. You're a small business and you have that. Now, but you have 10 staff, and out of 10 staff, the other maybe 3, because the work is too little to go around, the work is too little, you don't have enough work. You're spreading the work thin. People like the 10th, maybe everybody's having half day off per se, right? That is waste. That is waste. So you need to sit back and look at, do you really need to pay salaries to people that don't have work? right? You might say, okay, I'm going to decide on, okay, maybe I'm going to really, instead of having 10 staff, I'm going to redefine the responsibilities of each staff. Maybe have 10 staff that can do everything. No, this one, oh, this person is very good in marketing. I want that person to do my marketing. This person is very good in customer service. When there's issues on the phone, conflict resolution, I want this person to do that. So, and this other person is good. Oh my goodness, bookkeeping, calculation, everything. This person is very good. So reassess your staff and shared staff. Shared, when I say shared, they have, I'm sorry to say this, but I know that if you can't reassess them and reassign them work, then you have to reassess if they really, if they really need to be working for you. And sometimes you might say that, okay, you might say, okay, I don't want to fire them. You can even refer them to maybe a friend of yours or somebody that might need their services. But it's very important when you're actually changing your business model to reassess your staff strength. Reassess your staff strength, right? But it could be the flip side. The flip side could be that you have so many orders, but you can't fulfill those orders because you don't have enough staff. And you say, oh, no, I want to cut costs. No, but you're losing those orders because you don't have enough staff. So the first case is that you have too many. This case, you don't have enough. So you're sending those potential customers away. You're sending those potential customers, potential clients away because you do not have enough staff to fulfill, your required work or orders. All right. So it could be the one side, I don't have enough, or I have too many. The other side is I don't have enough. And, there's nothing wrong with hiring to fill positions, right? It's very important for you to look and see, you analyze and see how that would work. Okay. You have to do a lot of analysis. That's why I tell people, please, this is for informative and educative purposes only. Make sure you talk to a tax by business or any practice, CPA, right? Accountant to put you in the right direction. When I say tax, I mean a CPA that actually has tax accounting knowledge too, right? Right? Business knowledge, efficiency, right? Business efficiency knowledge, right? All right. And of course, you can always, contact my firm for us to help you out. Okay. So that's the third. The fourth, right? We're talking about 7 steps, right? To change your business model. The fourth is to carry your staff along. Carry your staff along, right? Now you finish reassessing your staff, who you need, bring them in. When I say bring them in, don't be the only person to make decisions because so many of these staff really, especially when they appreciate where they are, they share ideas. They say, okay, yes, we could do it this way. We could do it this way. This is available. They share ideas, and that's really awesome because from them, you can actually see, okay, maybe there's something you didn't think of and you hear, oh yeah, this is something that we can do. And that's why I tell people, treat your staff well. If you treat your staff well, they would want your company to do well. They want your company to grow. You have good staff and you treat them well, right? Pay them well. They want your company to grow. I'm working. If I'm working in a place and my boss is nice, why wouldn't I want my boss to succeed? So think of that. Treat them well, right? Have empathy towards them. If things happen, don't just say, oh, you didn't come to the office at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or start time. Find out, oh, yes, you didn't come to the office on time. Is everything okay? Is everything okay? And honestly, people appreciate that. Oh, you want, okay, and they tell you maybe something happened with their family. You know what? You want some time off? Let's just reassess. And of course, you know how to do. That of course you're not going to send them all the time with time off. Or you can say, but you make sure that if it's possible, they can take maybe that afternoon off if they're going through some kind of stress, right? So, of course, as I said, you know how to go about things. It's not like, people react to situations in different ways. So, you have to, look at how that would work. But again, you have to have empathy. empathy, right? Be kind to your staff, be nice. Of course, be strict. I'm not saying you should be strict with deadlines. I am very strict with deadlines, right? Because that's the business I work in. I'm a CPA, and deadlines are very important to us, right? And so I have to make sure that anybody working with me understands that. So again, be good to your staff. So the next, which I said, the fourth was include your staff in your plan. If you want more efficiency, talk to them and say, okay, there's something happening here. There's a lot of waste. Talk to them and put processes and procedures in place so that they will understand that, okay, we should not waste. Because when you say we should not waste, what does that mean? That's not defined. You can't define that really. That's an ambiguous statement. Don't waste. All right. You have to make sure you put specifics in place. And that is my next point, my next step. Have a specific plan, right? Okay, for example, don't be wasteful. What does that mean? Does it mean that, okay, the people have to use maybe five packs of paper in a week? Do you understand what I mean? Make sure that when you're setting goals, right? When it comes to changing your business model, don't forget the smart, right? Yes, smart. I mentioned this. Go back and watch the program I talked about smart. Any goal must be specific. Smart is SMART, right? Smart. So specific, measurable, right? Attainable, realistic, and it should be time bound. You should be able to measure it. All right? Smart, right? So when you're telling people, okay, let's reduce costs. What does that mean? Reduce costs by what? 5%, 10%? What are you? Okay, let's improve our marketing, right? Let's start sending mails out. What does that mean for marketing? Are you going to send five or 10 or 20 mails out, marketing letters out? What are you trying to do? So make sure that is what measurable. Make sure that as you think of changing your business plan, you can measure. You can measure this. There's specifics, like I said, there shouldn't be any waste. That's not specific, right? Right? Make sure they're attainable. Something that you won't say that, oh yes, let's send 1 million letters out in a week. That's not attainable. You can't attain that, right? I mean, maybe you could, but let's be realistic too. Let it be something that is realistic. Can you attain it? Can you be realistic? You can attainable, realistic. And of course, time. You have to put a timeline on it. You can say, you know what, I want to increase marketing, my marketing, or sending marketing leaflets out, every week. You see, that's time. You have to include time, right? You have to include specifics. They have to be measurable, right? You just can't just say, oh yes, let's improve sales. Let's let's do more marketing. Okay, customer service must be better. Yeah, these things are good. How do you measure? Are you going to say for customer service, somebody will always respond to reviews? Now, both responding to reviews is not only when the reviews are good. Okay, so let me say are bad. You have to also respond when reviews are good, because a lot of people try to defend themselves only when they're bad. No, also good. Thank you for coming in. Thank you. I appreciate this review. We really appreciate that. We hope you come back next time. So things like that. So is that what you're going to do to increase engagement, improve engagement, and also improve customer service? Or maybe now you understand that, if there are returns, you know how to go about the return. Now, some people might say, but if there are returns and I have to replace those returns, it's going to cost me money. But honestly, a good review would actually bring you revenue. Oh yes, they said, I told them that something was bad on this product, and they quickly went above and beyond and got me something else. Who won't want to buy from a buy from a company like that. All right. So it's very important that what you're going to do to change your business model is smart, measurable, is smart, is something that is specific. And you look at SMART also, as I said, SMART acronym. If you want a real breakdown of the SMART acronym, I actually did a show on that. So please go ahead and watch that show. Okay. The sixth point is don't forget cost benefit analysis. Cost benefit. People get so, oh my goodness, oh yes, let's put up a marketing plan. And then they have somebody that comes into the office and gives them a marketing bill, anticipated marketing proposal. That would be, yeah, you bring more customers, but it's something that is almost half of your revenue for last year. Please think of cost benefit analysis. Make sure that when you're looking at changing your business model, make sure you're looking at cost benefit analysis. Okay. Or somebody say, you know what, I can change those reviews. I can go in and change and respond to all of them, but they charge you an arm and leg. No, you have to look for a cheaper, more efficient way. Okay, that's efficient, but cheaper, I would have said, because someone that's doing that, of course, should be efficient, but I would say cheaper. So when you're looking at, okay, yes, this is what I'm going to do. This is the process. This is what I need to do to change my business model. Look at the costs associated with it. Because honestly, there's so many ways that you can actually change your business model, with some specifics that will not break the bank. So I understand SMEs they have limited resources, and I share tips here to try and share ways to help SMEs to maximize the limited resources they have, right? I know many large businesses, they already have a department, they have people already working in that arena, and that's fine. But SMEs usually have limited budgets. So I would say that even as you're changing your business model, as I said, please make sure you do cost benefit analysis. And of course, if you don't know what that means, and if you can't do that, because cost benefit analysis can cover so many areas, right? It just depends. Maybe your business model changes would impact so many areas in your business, so many aspects of your business. And so you want someone that is really has the ability to change, to help change or correct or, do some great things regarding your business model in the right arena, right? In the right way. All right. Okay, awesome. So the last point I am going to share. Remember, I said 7 points. The last point is constantly checking your metrics. What do I mean? When we go to school, right? Whether it's from elementary school up to college, they have a way of checking that you comprehend what you are doing, right? The exams, the tests, and things like that. Now, remember we said SMART, right? There are specifics, right? Now, you have to make sure when you say that, okay, I'm going to send out specific numbers and numbers of flyers or marketing materials. You assess, have you done that the last week? Now, your metrics your measuring of the metrics can be done maybe weekly. Some people might do it. Okay, let's see at the end of the week where we are, or at the beginning of the week, what happened last week, right? Or Monday. Some people have Monday meetings to see if what they wanted to achieve the previous week has actually been achieved, right? So when you're setting, as I said, when you're putting your smarts, your goals together in respect of changing the model of your business, right? Check if those metrics you put in place have been achieved. Have they been achieved? When you say, okay, customer service is going to improve, marketing, customer engagement, because you have the metrics now, have you checked and seen, okay, that is really the metrics has been achieved, right? And I gave an example about school. You have most schools, well, not most, is supposed to be that should be the way in all schools. They have learning objectives, learning outcomes. At the end of the day, they have to say, okay, have these learning outcomes objectives, have they been achieved, right? And sometimes usually it's through exams and through questionnaires, all kinds of stuff, depending on what you're doing. But that's what they ask. Have they been achieved? So you have to find out ways. How do you measure your metrics? And when you measure, right, you see, have they been achieved? If they have not been achieved, sit back and revamp. Maybe your smart is that you gave a goal that was not attainable. The smarts. It's not you can't reach, you can't attain it. You say, and you say, okay, revamp your smarts, revamp, make changes. And as you make changes, you tell your staff, people involved, and say, okay, I'm making changes because we see this is not realistic, or maybe it is realistic, but somebody is falling behind. Something is happening. Maybe the staff that's supposed to do specific work is not doing it. It's falling behind, right? And because of that, that metrics is not achievable. Then there has to be an issue with that staff. You could say, okay, I'm changing because I don't think that you're able to do what I said you should do, and make changes, so that those metrics you put in place can be achievable, right? Okay, so those are the 7 steps. But of course, you need to really ask yourself, are these steps, are these changing your business model, is it really necessary? And if it is necessary, it's good for you to do that. Because the goal, what's your goal in business? Your goal in your business is what? To really, really do well, right? To do well. And the only way you can do well is continuously assessing where you are. Now, startups, we know you're different, you're just starting. But if you're not a startup and you've been in business for a couple of years and you're not doing well, you're not moving to the direction you want to move in, we assess. Large companies do that, and we assess and see maybe there's something that is going on in your business, right? And you can just tweak it. Sometimes it just takes a little tweaking, right? But other times you have to do major changes, right? The entire business model. So if that's you, I hope you will do that and make sure again that you're doing well in your business. All right. Awesome. Okay, let's go to the question for today. Okay, so the question here is, okay, I'm getting many calls from customers, but I cannot afford to pay for a receptionist. How do I handle this? Okay, so what I'm getting is that good. Getting many calls, well, hopefully, okay, let me say it could be good, it could be bad. Hopefully it's not because your product is bad. Okay, so let's look at the positive part of it. Yes, it could be that you're getting calls, more orders, things like that. Of course, hopefully you're online, you have an online store, if you're a product into products, selling products, that's different. Hopefully you have an online store. All right. Now, if you have calls coming in, what I tell people is that you are taking away from what you're supposed to do, which is, I'm sure you got into business maybe to be more creative, to have time to think, to be able to produce things or, design or something. That's why you got into business, right? Now, you should not be taking your time should not be responding to receptionist calls. That's not your job. That should not happen. So what I would say is that, if you can't afford a receptionist, think of outsource receptionists. Think of receptionists where you can outsource, right? Outsource receptionists. All right. So when you're able to outsource, right, it is cheaper, right? Outsourcing a receptionist, there are people there that answer calls. Now, there are different kinds of, if you say call center, but there are different kinds of receptionists. Now, there are call centers that will say, hello, how are you? Hello, can I speak? And they'll transfer the call to you. But if you want someone that actually talks to the person, you would have to pay a little bit more, right? But it is at the end of the day, it is cheaper. Why? You are able to spend your time to do the needful, right? To grow your business, to put an idea out there. All right. So it's very important. I will say if you're getting enough calls like that, you have to get somebody that is a receptionist. But if you can't afford to pay a salaried receptionist, think of having somebody that is outsourced. that will actually be a receptionist for you, right? Outsource. There are so many companies out there. Just do your research, right? So that you don't have to handle basic calls. Some people, I guess, some people might even call and say, okay, how do I put in this order? That's not, usually, again, online orders, that's your job. All right. That's your job to get that online platform working. All right. Awesome. Okay. The next question is okay. I'm thinking of paying for chatting. Is it chat box or chatting? Chats as opposed to having service staff. Is that a good option? Okay. I think I get what you're saying, that you want to, there's people, a lot of companies now subscribe to chatting, somebody like chatbot or something like that, so that they don't have to deal with having a staff. Now, I'm not saying chatting is a bad idea. There's nothing wrong with chatting, but I'm saying that I personally feel, again, remember, this is my opinion. I'm just saying, even if you're getting the chat, make sure you still have people to answer calls. All right. Even though I do chats here and there, I like to hear somebody speak, especially when I really want some clarification. Sometimes, right, it's not as, sometimes you just need basic responses. Now, I want to step back here. It depends also on the kind of industry you're in. If your industry allows for maybe the questions, they are very basic, yeah, get a chat, that chat, subscribe to that chat. But you should do in such a way that, because I've seen this, sometimes they'll ask you, the chat bots, I believe, or the chats discussion will ask you some questions. Sometimes, they will have an option at the end of the day that, do you want somebody to call you, or do you want to speak to somebody, right? If the chat doesn't work. So that's it. To me, I think that's great, because at the end of the day, if the answers are not there, right, the person has an option, right, to speak to somebody, right? So I just think that's a good thing. All right, to speak to a live person. So I would say, for me, I would say combine, not just stick to just say, oh yeah, there's no live person. I know some people have gone that route. For me, for a service industry, for me, I'm very skeptical when I'm using a live service industry and there's only chat. For me personally, I like being able to chat, and also option of either somebody calling you back or I can speak to somebody. That's my person. So there might be people in my category, and with that, if it's only chatting, that might be an issue. Now, if it's ordering, sometimes order number, oh, do you want to return? Those are basic, easy. So that might be, okay, chat related, that might be just the chat, but at least let it be at the end of the day, if the case is really serious, or if it's something that needs to go higher than just a chat, there's an option that somebody can speak with somebody, right? So, either the person gets a call back or something like that. So I would say that I would for me personally, I would do both chat and service staff. But the good thing about the chat, it actually allows you to reduce the number of service staff you have, because if it's basic discussion, then you don't really need high levels. You don't really need basic service staff. You can just say, okay, you know what? I want to have high level service staff that will answer complex questions. All right. So that's what I would do. But again, that's my own opinion. Again, it's up to you to decide what works for you. Always talk to a professional that can actually hear your case one-on-one, right? Because usually I tell people, speaking here on this platform, I don't have all your information. So usually when I do a consultation, I ask questions. And again, this is for today, or whenever I speak on this platform, it's for general information only. Okay, the next question. I'm thinking of bringing on a part-time worker that works 15 hours a week. Can I hire the person as an independent contractor? Okay, as an independent contractor, okay, that's the question. Well, the number of hours doesn't determine whether the person is an independent contractor or an employee. I mean, there's a long list. I don't want to go through that, but just know that don't look at the number of hours. I would say, again, professional advice, because I mean, going through independent contractor versus employee is actually a cost on its own. So it's very important for you to see which one works, which one not works best, because of course, which one works best. Independent contractor means that there's no payroll tax. So you will say, oh yeah, independent contractor works better. Yes, it works better, right? But it's not your choice, right? It's not your choice as per, or when I say it's not your choice, you can't determine, based on, the number of hours. It depends on how you work with this person. And again, as I said, it's good to sit down and speak to a professional to look at, okay, how do you relate with this person, right? There are so many basic areas that we can look at, but most of all is control. How do you relate with this person? When I say control, how do you give the person the equipment to work? Do you control the person's hours? Things like that. But again, I'm not going to go into detail, because this is a very broad topic. And but I would suggest, if you're the person that, if you're the one that hires here and there, and you say, oh, yeah, I feel like giving this person the independent contractor status, the other one employee, I suggest you really find out if the person you're hiring is actually supposed to be an independent contractor. At the end of the day, if the person is supposed to be an employee and you hire the person as an independent contractor, what happens is that there are fines, there are penalties, there are interest, all kinds of things that both at the state level and federal, and then, on the state level, then also federal level too, both at the state level and federal level too. And so it's really, really not a good thing. And then sometimes employee or workers might say, oh, you know what, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just hire me as an independent contractor. Don't worry about it, right? And I know a case like that the person actually followed what the worker said. And it was just by, I would say that the person actually almost got in trouble because of that. So it's so important. That was almost, there's another case that the person actually got in trouble. A lot of time, I know I was speaking at an event on this independent contractor versus employee, and I just, went through the scenarios, and somebody actually walked up to me and said that they paid hundreds of thousands of dollars in penalties and, taxes and interest because they misclassified their workers. So don't worry about 15 hours, 10 hours, 5, just make sure that the criteria to analyze if the person is an independent contractor or an employee, make sure that you are really checking it very well and choosing the right classification. Because at the end of the day, you might say, oh, yes, I'm saving in payroll taxes. But guess what happens? If they audit you, that savings is not even going to, it's so small compared to being non-compliant. All right. So please make sure if you're not sure, the best thing to do is talk to a professional and lay all your facts on the table. Tell them this is what I'm looking at, and they will analyze for you and say, okay, CPA, tax attorney, whatever professional that you're looking at, but I'm talking about in the financial field, CPA, tax attorneys, people that are in that line that will help you, really decide which category that you put that person. And you might say, but the person is a remote worker. That still doesn't matter. And also, please, very important for you to look at what happens now that after COVID, many people are working at home now. So you have to also look at, okay, what happens, what applies in that state, right? In that state. Okay. So it's important for you to, relate with the attorneys, in the tax attorneys, or maybe CPA, the attorney or CPA there that would also know, through experience, or of course, not only through experience, through their knowledge. Okay, very important. All right. Okay, we have the time for one more question before I go. I'll round up. I understand that hiring your family has some tax benefits. That means that hiring my cousin is beneficial to my company, correct? Okay. All right. I've spoken about hiring family members before. Very wonderful. I told you that the IRS actually encourages people to hire their family members. Of course, conditions apply. But I'm so sorry that when it comes to family members, in this case, we're not talking about cousins, really, okay? Family members usually are parents and kids. And of course, it's not only parents and kids, right? You have to also look at the structure of the company, right? It's not just, oh yeah, the tax benefits are there. We always, when we talk about tax benefits, we look at payroll, right? Payroll. I mean, but you might, yeah, we look at payroll tax benefits, all right? But your cousin is not under that. But you might say, okay, but I'm already giving my cousin money. What about if my cousin works for me? That's fine. That's a different ballgame. Just like anybody works for you, that's fine. There's no specific benefit. Maybe the benefit would be, okay, I can deduct this amount that I'm paying my cousin, as opposed to I'm just giving the person. But of course, your cousin must be working for you. Okay, your cousin must be working for you, and the job must be the job that's related to your business. I mean, I'm a CPA. If I have my cousin working for me in my firm, my cousin cannot be, walking a dog and say, oh yeah, or maybe a puppy and say, okay, oh, they're working for my firm. No, because I'm not a dog. I'm doggy daycare, right? So just wanted to make sure you understand. Now, if my doggy daycare, my cousin works for me, great, and he's walking the dogs, fine. It might come in the doggy daycare, right? So that's fine. All right. So just wanted to make sure we understand that. Okay, so awesome, very nice being here this afternoon, evening, wherever you are this day. Okay, so it's awesome. So remember, if you want to appear on this program, ask questions or send a question in, please make sure you go to my website, www.driniadesanya.com. Is at the back there. driniadesanya.com, one word. All right. So, and remember, as I leave you, make sure if you want your business to do well, of course, you want your business to thrive, you have to be intentional about it. You have to be intentional. All right. See you next time.